Christmas is supposed to be a time of joy, hope, and celebration. But Bishop Clarence McClendon's latest sermon left his congregation stunned, confused, and some say even outraged. What he said on that pulpit has people questioning everything they thought they knew about this respected pastor. And tonight, we're diving deep into exactly what happened, why it caused such a stir, and the reactions that are spreading like wildfire online. You won't believe the details we uncovered. Welcome back to the channel, where we dig into the most shocking, controversial, and trending stories from the world of pastors, churches, and religious scandals. Today, we're uncovering the truth behind Bishop Clarence McClendon's Christmas sermon, an event that was meant to inspire faith and joy, but instead left many questioning his message. In this video, you're going to hear the full story, from what he actually said during the sermon, to the reactions from his congregation, social media uproar, and even the critical commentary from fellow pastors. We'll break down every key moment, provide concrete facts, and reveal why this Christmas message has caused so much controversy. By the end of this video, you'll know the full context, the details that went viral, and the implications this sermon might have on Bishop McClendon's reputation. And trust me, you won't want to miss the part where the congregation's reactions get completely out of hand. The controversy all started on Christmas morning, when Bishop Clarence McClendon took the pulpit, ready to deliver what was expected to be an uplifting and heartwarming message. But almost immediately, people noticed something was off. Instead of the traditional Christmas themes of hope, love, and redemption, Bishop McClendon launched into a sermon that many described as harsh, critical, and even confusing. He spoke about the dangers of complacency in faith, the hypocrisy he claims exists in the modern church, and delivered pointed critiques that seemed unusually personal. One moment that sparked intense debate was when he directly challenged his congregation, saying that many were celebrating a holiday they don't understand, and warned that their spiritual lives were in danger if they continued with superficial worship. Some attendees reported feeling shocked and even hurt, saying they came expecting encouragement but left feeling condemned. Social media quickly exploded with clips from the sermon. Short videos showing Bishop McClendon's critical tone went viral almost immediately, with comments ranging from, "That's bold," to "completely inappropriate for Christmas." Religious commentators weighed in, with some defending his honesty and others questioning why a pastor would take such a confrontational approach on one of the most sacred days of the year. What made this even more controversial was that Bishop McClendon didn't shy away from naming certain behaviors and attitudes he claimed were harming the church. While he didn't publicly name individuals, the specificity of his examples left many wondering if this was a message directed at particular members of his congregation, or even other pastors. By the end of the sermon, it was clear. Christmas 2025 would be remembered not for the usual carols and celebrations, but for a sermon that challenged, shocked, and divided the church community. Almost immediately after the sermon ended, the reaction from Bishop McClendon's congregation was intense and mixed. Some members were visibly upset, telling reporters and online forums that they felt blindsided by the tone and content of the message. They had come expecting inspiration, joy, and traditional Christmas encouragement. But instead, they left with confusion and even anger. Eyewitnesses reported heated discussions in the church parking lot, with families debating whether the sermon was too harsh for a Christmas service. Some attendees described it as a wake-up call that forced them to think deeply about their faith, while others said it crossed a line, calling the message offensive and inappropriate for the season. But the real firestorm ignited online. Clips from the sermon quickly circulated on social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, where they were met with thousands of comments and shares. The hashtag #McClendon Christmas began trending within hours, with viewers dissecting every sentence and debating whether the sermon was a bold truth or a shocking misstep. Influencers in the Christian community also weighed in. Some praised Bishop McClendon for his honesty, arguing that challenging congregants to examine their faith is exactly what pastors are meant to do. Others, however, criticized the timing, pointing out that Christmas is traditionally a time of comfort, joy, and encouragement, Adding fuel to not the fire. confrontation. A few clips showing moments of visible tension in the congregation went viral. In one particularly striking video, you can see some attendees leaving mid-sermon, while others whisper frantically, clearly taken aback by what they had just heard. Social media users didn't hold back. Comments ranged from incredulous reactions like, Did he just say that on Christmas? To more thoughtful takes like, sometimes the truth hurts, even on holy days. The controversy soon spilled over into news outlets and religious blogs. Headlines like Bishop McClendon shocks congregation with harsh Christmas sermon and Christmas message turns controversial overnight appeared across platforms, increasing the story's visibility. Every mention seemed to attract more viewers and commenters, fueling an online debate that still continues. As the social media storm grew, the reactions of other pastors, ministers, and religious commentators added an entirely new layer to the controversy surrounding Bishop McClendon's Christmas sermon. While the general public was debating online, leaders in the faith community were weighing in with analysis, criticism, and in some cases, outright defense. One well-known pastor who spoke anonymously said that Bishop McClendon's message was unusually confrontational for a Christmas service. He noted that while calling out complacency in faith can be part of a pastor's responsibility, doing so on Christmas is risky because the holiday is meant to focus on hope and joy, not judgment. This comment quickly made rounds in Christian news forums, prompting heated discussions. Other pastors were more supportive, arguing that Bishop McClendon was delivering a necessary wake-up call. They said the sermon exposed uncomfortable truths about modern churchgoers, highlighting issues like shallow engagement, performative worship, and neglect of spiritual growth. Some critics even went as far as to suggest that his timing, while controversial, could serve as a powerful reminder that faith requires more than tradition. It demands sincerity and action. Religious commentators also analyzed his sermon from a broader perspective. Many pointed out that Bishop McClendon has a history of bold, unfiltered messages, and some speculated that this was part of a larger pattern, pushing boundaries to challenge congregations and spark conversation. Others raised questions about whether this type of sermon might alienate followers rather than inspire them. Adding fuel to the controversy, some online articles and blog posts started connecting the sermon to wider tensions in the church community. They suggested that certain underlying conflicts, be it disagreements about church leadership, teachings, or financial transparency, might have influenced the intensity and tone of the Christmas message. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the speculation alone drove more viewers to watch clips of the sermon and share their opinions. The discussion also reached mainstream media outlets. TV segments and news reports highlighted not only the sermon itself, but also the polarized reactions it generated. One headline read, Bishop McClendon sparks debate on faith, holiday spirit, and church accountability, signaling that this story was no longer just a church issue. It had become a cultural talking point. But here's where things take an even darker turn. Amid all the debate and commentary, whispers began circulating about how some church members were allegedly planning to confront Bishop McClendon directly. There were rumors of heated meetings behind the scenes, private confrontations, and even members leaving the church because of what they perceived as disrespect or misjudgment. And these whispers would eventually escalate to a situation that no one expected, adding an entirely new level of scandal to the story. While the public debate and online uproar were unfolding, behind the church doors, the fallout from Bishop McClendon's Christmas sermon was just beginning. Sources close to the church revealed that the sermon sparked intense discussions among church leadership and longtime members, creating a tense atmosphere that few could ignore. Immediately after the service, church staff reportedly gathered in private meetings to review the sermon and its impact. Some leaders expressed concern that Bishop McClendon had gone too far, arguing that the confrontational tone might drive members away. Others defended him, saying that honesty and accountability are core elements of faith, and that the sermon reflected his true pastoral mission. This division at the leadership level set the stage for a deeper rift within the congregation. Whispers began circulating among members who felt personally targeted by the sermon. Some felt their personal faith practices or lifestyle choices had been criticized, even though no individual names were mentioned. Church insiders revealed that small groups within the congregation started discussing the sermon's meaning late into the evening, debating whether it was meant as guidance or judgment. These conversations, according to several sources, were so heated that some members were reportedly on the verge of leaving the church entirely. The controversy escalated when videos of particularly sharp statements from the sermon were shared privately among church members before going viral. In these clips, Bishop McClendon's tone was interpreted by some as accusatory, and social media users quickly latched onto the content. Memes, reaction videos, and commentary started to circulate, amplifying the drama far beyond the walls of the church. The more people talked, the more intense the scrutiny became. But it wasn't just congregants reacting. Some former members and critics who had previously had disagreements with Bishop McClendon seized the opportunity to criticize him publicly. Blogs, podcasts, and social media posts emerged, dissecting his words, questioning his intentions, and speculating about whether this sermon was part of a larger pattern of controversial messages he delivers. Headlines like "Christmas Chaos at McClendon Church" and "Faith or Fury, Bishop McClendon divides congregation" began appearing, turning the story into national news within certain religious communities. The tension reached a boiling point when an anonymous source revealed that a few highly influential church members had considered formally addressing Bishop McClendon with a letter of concern, confronting him directly about his choice of words and their impact. This potential confrontation sparked rumors online and in church circles, creating a climate of suspense. Would Bishop McClendon respond publicly? Would this escalate into a major internal conflict? Or could it all be resolved quietly, behind the scenes? By now, the controversy had reached a point where it wasn't just about a sermon anymore. It had become a story about leadership, accountability, faith, and the very nature of spiritual guidance. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get more intense, another shocking revelation came to light, one that would send shockwaves through the congregation and social media alike.